Hey friends. Welcome back to VMware vSphere. This is Hirsch. Think you are all doing fine. If you are following my video tutorials, by now, you may be very good at basics of virtualization. If you have not followed my previous tutorial, Virtualization Explained, do watch that first. Please check the link in the description. In this tutorial I am gonna discuss about VMware's vSphere. As we all know, that VMware is the top brand, which is having most of its share in market towards virtualization. Majority of the enterprises use VMware as their virtualization platform as it is very simple to deploy and easy to manage. Learning VMware will help you a lot, as working in any of the other platforms will be almost similar. Only the terminology might differ. Also vSphere has some ultimate features, which enhances your freedom in virtualization. Now, let's get deep into vSphere. What exactly is vSphere? It's been so long that VMware has been into virtualization now. The latest version of vSphere is 6.0. I am gonna discuss some similarities and advancements of vSphere 6.0, over vSphere 5.5 and lower versions. VMware has been continuously developing several applications to help us with the management, monitoring, disaster recovery, expansion of your data center etc. All these applications can be consolidated under a single family called vSphere. Let's get into some of the application suites in vSphere. vSphere, esxi, which is the hypervisor, the heart of virtualization in VMware. What is a hypervisor? Hypervisor is an operating system, which takes control of all the hardware resources of a computer, or server, and present those resources to the virtual machines, as per the requirement, as defined by the administrator or by automation. Hypervisors can be generally categorized into two types. Type 1 hypervisors and Type 2 hypervisors. Type 1 hypervisors runs directly on the server hardware. Type 1 hypervisors does not require any pre-installed operating system. Hence they are often called as bare metal hypervisors. Here we install the hypervisor directly on the server hardware similar to installing any other operating system, like Windows or Linux. However, nested virtualization is possible with esxi, which means you can create a virtual esxi over esxi. Examples of Type 1 hypervisors are VMware esxi, Citrix Zen Server, Citrix Zen Desktop, etc. Type 2 hypervisors does require a base operating system. It is not possible to install them over bare hardware of a server. First we need to install a base operating system like Windows or Linux etc. over which we install the Type 2 hypervisors. Examples of Type 2 hypervisors are VMware Workstation, Oracle VirtualBox etc. Here comes in another important member in vSphere family. The vSphere Desktop Client and vSphere Web Client. Both are used for graphical-based management of esxi. vSphere Desktop Client is an installable application, which you can install on your Windows desktop, in the similar way as you do for any other installable application. It can be downloaded from VMware website directly, or from the browser, once you have finished installing at least one esxi in your environment. vSphere Web Client is introduced from the versions 5.0 and later. It directly runs on the web browser unlike Desktop Client, which helps from a separate Windows desktop from being installed unlike Desktop Client. But, to use Web Client, you require at least one vCenter server in your environment. The next important component is vCenter server. vCenter server is the brain of virtualization in VMware. It is a centralized management tool to manage several esxi hosts simultaneously. vCenter server acts as a single sign-on, typically it acts as a directory server. Do remember, you can access and manage only one esxi at a time using Desktop Client if you don't have a vCenter server. But if you access the vCenter server from the Desktop Client or Web Client, you can access and manage several esxi hosts. vCenter server gives you several important features like vMotion, vSphere HA, high availability, fault tolerance, FT, DRS, distributed resource scheduler, templates and clones, and several other features, which I will discuss further in videos about vCenter server. But remember, vCenter server is very important if you want enhanced features in your environment. Starting from 5.0 towards later versions, VMware has introduced new type of vCenter server, which comes as an appliance. Before 5.0, one has the basic requirement of having any Windows-based server, 2008 and later, in his setup in order to deploy a vCenter server, as it was Windows-based application. From 5.0, VMware introduced several applications to be used as an appliance, which does not require any underlying operating systems to be installed separately. Appliance is Linux-based. Some of the appliance-based suites introduced by VMware into vSphere suite are vRealize Operations Manager, VMware Data Protection, etc. All these suites once required Windows-based operating system. This table shows the enhancements VMware has been improving from version to version. The table has vSphere versions prior to 5.0 through 6.0. Hypervisor and prior to 5.0 was available in two flavors: ESX and esxi. ESX is a Linux kernel-based operating system and has a Linux-based service console. But, esxi do not have a service console and it is VM kernel-based OS. From 5.0 the ESX flavor is discontinued. The physical CPU per host is increased from 160 to 480 in 6.0. The physical memory from 1 TB to 12 TB. With the increase in physical CPUs, the vCPUs are increased to 128 per VM. And memory per VM got increased to 4 TB. The VMDK is the linear logical storage with VMFS file system, where all the virtual machine information is stored. The maximum size of it is increased to 62 TB. Which means, one can assign an external storage of max 62 TB per esxi host. The VM hardware version is 11 for 6.0, which gives more freedom in terms of assigning virtual input-output devices for virtual machines. As I already told previously that from 5.0 VMware has introduced vCenter appliance-based server. So from 5.0, we have a freedom to choose between Windows-based vCenter or Linux-based virtual appliance. This will be explained further in further tutorials. The vCenter server deployment requires a database deployment prior to it. We have a freedom to choose the embedded PostgreSQL database, or we can install an Oracle database or Microsoft SQL database server externally. The vCenter requires a database to store the virtual machine and its configuration details, like storage, vSwitches, network port groups, IP addresses, clusters, etc. This will be discussed further in further tutorials. With the embedded Postgres database, or external Oracle or SQL database, the number of hosts and virtual machines it can handle ideally is increased from 5 hosts and 50 VMs to 1,000 hosts and 10,000 VMs. Do remember the number of VMs maximum a database can handle as mentioned above are powered on VMs, which excludes templates, clones and powered down VMs. So to deploy the VMware vSphere in your environment, these are the basic requirements. 1. vSphere esxi. 2. vCenter server. 3. vSphere desktop client and web client. With this video I expect you could explain vSphere suite and its components. If I miss anything, please mention them in the comments. I will get back with another video. We will try to do the lab on deploying a vSphere virtualized environment. I will also try to include interview and certification-based questions in upcoming videos. If you have any queries, please ask me in the comments. I will try to explain them. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button below, for latest updates. And also, share it, if you like it.